All right, welcome back to a better NFL Top 100, the only list on the internet. This is we're going to go with number 70 through 61 here. Think it could be an interesting, section as we're starting to get closer to the top 50. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. These are the next 10 on this list. Should mention that coming up with a new one every day. So, if you want to see want to stay tuned with the list, tomorrow I will come up with, 60 through 51. I have the other ones currently on this channel, so check those out if you want to. But yeah, without further ado, for real, let's get into the list, starting with number 70. I have the Indianapolis Colts interior defensive lineman, Deforest Buckner here. Someone who I do think that maybe he had his best years with the 49ers before coming over to Indianapolis, but Indianapolis still, I feel like, clearly won that trade, especially with Javon Kinlaw maybe not living up to the draft hype that they thought they were going to get with him. Buckner has been great for Indianapolis. Maybe not quite as good as he was with the 49ers, but still nearly as good. I mean, his 3 years with the Colts, he's had an 8-sack season, a 7-sack season, and a 9.5-sack season. So maybe not quite as good as the 12-sack season he had in 2018 with San Francisco, but he's still been one of the better interior pass rushers in the league. So yeah, if anything, 70 almost feels low, but that's where I have him here, number 70. 69, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys cornerback, Trevon Diggs. Diggs here, who did not make the list last year, despite the fact that he was, I believe, an all-pro, which I didn't agree with that at the time because I felt like while he got a lot of interceptions, a lot of those are fluky, and I didn't think that he had really fully, developed as a complete cover corner just yet. But in a weird way, it was almost unfair for Diggs because you don't expect the year 2 corner to come in and just be a complete lockdown corner. It happens, but you don't expect it to happen. It takes time for corners to develop. And he was still a developing player who had great ball skills and took advantage of his opportunities. So for me, the way I kind of view it with Diggs is that he probably got underrated because of that and also overrated at the same time. And last year, he fully developed as a cover corner and has really shown what he can do. So very exciting to see how his career is going to go. But I think he's definitely a great corner. I have him here at number 69. 68 is the Kansas City Chiefs offensive lineman, the guard, Joe Thuney, who, formerly played for the New England Patriots. Then the Chiefs gave him a truckload of money to come play for them. And he's been a very good, consistent guard for quite some time for them. So, yeah, absolutely a great player and belongs on this list. Next up is Hasson Reddick here at 67. What a weird career Reddick has had. So he's someone who, his first 3 years with the Cardinals, you notice his sack numbers were very low, only 7.5 sacks in his 3 years, which is actually more impressive when you realize he was playing as an off-ball linebacker for most of those snaps in those first 3 seasons. I don't know what the Cardinals were thinking doing that, but finally in his contract year, they had him play edge where he had 12.5 sacks and showed what he can do. The Panthers said, okay, let's take a flyer on him. Let's take a 1-year rental, see how that goes. Had 11 sacks with them. Instead of the Eagles kind of said, okay, we're going to pay you. We're going to make sure we get you on the roster. And so it's kind of a little concerning. Like, okay, you've done that in contract years, but now that you have a bit more money, a bit more security, how good are you going to be? He had 16 sacks last year. He was great. Last year was a banner year for him. So been consistent and had several now very good years. And as long as he's not playing off-ball linebacker, seems to be pretty good. So he makes the list at 67. 66, I have Chargers tackle Rashawn Slater, someone who I think is a really good player, someone who I think that definitely has, it sucks that he's coming off an injury, and that hurts a little bit. I do take in, injuries into account in this stuff, and I kind of, I view this as, if you take away positional value, who would I most want to have on my team? If you have an injury, that's going to hurt a little bit, but that's really the only knock you can say on Slater. He came into the league, was great as a rookie. He was, better than some other players who I have ahead of him as a rookie, but then, year 2 was still just as good. I think a couple players have passed him since then. I'm talking about Penei Sewell. That's what I'm talking about. Penei Sewell is higher on the list than Slater. Spoiler alert. But Slater was better as a rookie, I thought. But then Sewell had a great rookie second year. Slater just never got that opportunity. So maybe in year three, he could overtake Sewell. But for now, 66 is where he's at. Number 65, we're sticking with offensive line here. A lot of offensive and defensive line on this list so far. 70 through 65. Only Trevon Diggs isn't an offensive or defensive lineman. Tristian Wirfs for Tampa Bay, dominant right tackle for them. All pro, who I think pass blocks very well. The only knock on him really is you play for Tom Brady. He gets rid of the ball in 0 seconds. That certainly helps you be able to pass block and look good in that area. But I still think that even with that, he's been very good. So I have him here at 65. 64, I have Tremaine Edmunds, who's a player that I feel like I'm higher on than a lot of other people are. I think he was great last year. I think he did basically everything that you would want out of a linebacker. He was very good at doing the little things and also would make some splash plays for Buffalo. He is now an off-ball linebacker for Chicago. Chicago trades Roquan Smith, now brings in Edmunds and TJ Edwards. Edwards did not quite make the list, but I had him as an honorable mention. Edmunds here at 64 on the list. So they're trying to bring in some very good linebackers. And I think Edmunds, I guess the one knock on him is he's only really had one dominant year, which was last year. Contract year, one dominant year. Makes you hold your breath a little bit, but I still think he's very good. I have him here at 64. Number 63, it is Christian Darrisaw of the Minnesota Vikings. Just a dominant, pass blocker. I mean, he's someone who, coming into the draft, I remember, I loved coming out of the draft because I thought he would be a dominant pass blocker, and that's exactly what he's proven to be for Minnesota. They've missed on some offensive line picks in recent memory, but they definitely hit a home run on Darrisaw, so he's at 63. Number 62, I have Quennen Williams, the New York Jets interior defensive lineman who, again, he's an interesting player because there was a real discussion of who would you rather have, Quennen Williams or Nick Bosa. And at the time, most people lean Nick Bosa, but a lot of people still felt like Quennen Williams. It was a real discussion, probably similar to like the Bryce Young versus CJ Stroud debate in terms of like how close some people were. Williams being the CJ Stroud in this scenario. I think probably most people would still take most people would still take Nick Bosa over Williams, even at this point. But after year one, it felt like it was a given. Like, oh my God, the Jets, Jets are going to Jets. They completely screwed it up. No, he was a bit of a slow starter, but he's been electric since he's entered, really his second year and continues to get better and is still getting better. So yeah, number 62 on the list. And number 61, I didn't quite realize how much of this list was going to be offensive linemen, how much of this section of the list was offensive linemen. Actually, 8 of the 10 overall players on this list, offensive linemen. We also had a corner and a linebacker. So interesting section. But yeah, Penei Sewell, I thought was awesome last year. I really did. I think that he, has really kind of almost, you could argue he's kind of put himself in the near elite category. I don't know if he's quite there yet, but am I betting on him getting there at some point in his career? Yeah, I am. I think that he's awesome. And what the dominance he was able to pull off at times, I mean, there really is. There's like Trent Williams upside with Penei Sewell. Like that's how good he is. And even if he doesn't hit that upside, what he is right now is still incredibly fantastic. So he's number 61 on this list. Again, that 10, Sewell, Williams, Darrisaw, Edmunds, Wirfs, Slater, Reddick, Thuney, Diggs, and Buckner. Those are the 10. That's number 61 through 70. If you want to find out who is just outside the top 10, the 60 through 51, make sure you tune in tomorrow where I will be back with another video talking about, where each, who I have there and all that good stuff. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on these 10 in the comments below and the list so far in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.